Well, Cuse fans, it's that time of the year again. But the thing is, in recent times, it's that time where we gotta sweat it out again. Yes, I think Syracuse is getting too comfortable being on the bubble. That's what I think. Yeah, year in, year out lately, that seems to be the talk. It's not where is Syracuse gonna be in the tournament, but if they're gonna be in the tournament. This year, no exception. Right now, Syracuse is seeded 8th in the ACC tournament, and their whole thing begins tomorrow against North Carolina State. They've beaten the Wolfpack twice in the regular season. But you know, year in, year out, it's become a cardiac cuse to see if Syracuse is getting in the tournament. You know, there maybe needs to be a few changes. Of course, some people think maybe Boeheim's gotten a little too comfortable having Syracuse be a bubble team. Well, you know what? Syracuse has got the reputation they shouldn't be a bubble team. We should be getting the recruits. Of course, they're going to the Blue Bloods. And while I'm on the subject, I'm going to just say, hey, what have happened to all the Blue Bloods this year? Kentucky, it's going to take an extreme miracle for them to make any tournament. Yeah, boy, did Kentucky collapse with a thud this year. Duke, they really have to maybe win the ACC tournament if they're going to be getting into the NCAAs. Well, maybe a win or two may get them to the NIT. But I mean, Duke, they're struggling. North Carolina probably needs a win or two to get into the NCAA tournament. Even Kansas is another great blue blood having trouble. Yeah, the ones to beat this year look like Gonzaga and Baylor, who up until a few years ago wasn't even on the conversation for college basketball big time. But you know what? The Bears have moved in, and of course, Gonzaga's always been part of the conversation for a while. But it seemed they exit early in the tournament. But they made it all the way to the final a couple of years ago. But I mean, we'll see. Syracuse, I mean, you're too comfortable on the bubble. It's time we got off the bubble. And it's time you cause some noise. We're probably going to have to beat North Carolina State and maybe surprise Tony Bennett and Virginia to maybe make it into the NCAA tournament. Otherwise, NIT bound. You know, get off the bubble, Syracuse. We don't need this. Speaking of the bubble, you know, the bubble burst for the Miners girls. A COVID test sadly ended their season and ended any hopes of their Section 5 tournament hopes. But the boys kept on pushing. They made it in as a 6th seed in Class C2. And you know, they could have had a pretty good amount of road lag yesterday because they had to journey all the way down to Wellsville to play them. They journeyed down, and not only was there no road lag, they thumped Wellsville on their own court, 67-41. Now they got Charles G. Finney High School, a Christian non-denominational school in Penfield in suburban Rochester, as their next opponent. And I mean, if they make it to the finals, it'll be against another couple special schools from Rochester, either North Star Christian or the World of Inquiry. Well, enough aside there of the ceremonies, if you ask me. But you know, Miners keep pushing on, looking good, Miners boys. And of course, I mean, it's like I said, it was sad to see that the Miners girls tournament season had to end early. But now, Miners is going to have a pretty good volleyball team, plus also the football team starts up. That's right, a couple fall sports have moved to spring just for this year. And then they play their season, and in mid-April, hopefully, the regular spring sports start up. Yep, softball, baseball, track, all of them. And I mean, it's a nightmare for the athletic directors around here. It's a nightmare for Mr. Ferrara, and a nightmare for the best AD in Section 5. The one and only Crystal Kent. Oh, who knows? They can do the job, let's see. Good luck to the Miners boys in the Section 5 tournament. Now, I mean, everybody is talking about that interview Oprah Winfrey did with Prince Harry and Princess Meghan. And I tell you what, some of what I heard is quite disturbing. Seems as though, I mean, like he calls it, the firm, which is the monarchy, apparently kind of likes to act British. Well, what I mean is, hey, apparently they don't like outsiders coming in. But, you know, Prince Harry and Princess Meghan love each other. And it shouldn't matter about the color of her skin. And of course, one of the most disturbing revelations of that interview was, hey, when Prince Archie was born, I mean, they say he wasn't going to be given a title. That he wasn't even going to be given protection. You know what that would have done? That would have put a big price on Archie's head. You know, that's all some radical would have needed, was to hear that there'd be no protection for a member of the royal family. And also, I mean, the allegations of racism because of Meghan's skin color. I mean, she's only half African American. But, I mean, some of the disturbing allegations. And, of course, the British press and everybody else all over it. No right to privacy. Not even some basic life things for both Prince Harry and Princess Meghan. And, of course, he wouldn't reveal who said that about Archie's potential skin color. But I digress. Why should that be an issue? He's a member of the royal family. I mean, some of what I heard, outrageous. And of course, everybody's worried about Prince Philip, 99, having undergone a heart procedure. And I'm hoping that he makes it to 100. I've always found Prince Philip to be a pretty decent, affable gentleman, if you know what I mean. And of course, you gotta wonder about what Queen Elizabeth's doing in the midst of all of this. And also all the rest of them. Prince William. Apparently, the relationship between the brothers is estranged. Same thing with him and Prince Harry and Prince Charles. Of course, everybody remembers the damning interview Princess Di gave in 1995. 2 years later, she ends up dead. I mean, there's been a whole lot of things talked about that, but part of me believes that maybe she was taken out in some way or another. Of course, that's never going to be proven. So, you know, Prince Harry, I kind of wonder if he's going to fear for his life. As I mean, with this, you got to wonder if they put a price on his or Princess Meghan's heads. We'll see. It was really interesting. That's all I'm going to say. And last but not least, I'm going to go from seriousness to humor. There's a pitcher who signed a pretty good 2-year extension, and his last name is Odorizzi. Oh, I kind of wonder. Some unique names have been in baseball lately. Odorizzi. You know what? I don't know if it smells, but that's maybe how some people like their eggs. Odorizzi. And of course, the player for the Texas Rangers, Rougned Odor. You know what? There is an odor about it, especially his batting average. And it stinks! And of course, there were 2 pitchers. You know, there was one named Milton, whose last name was the 7th letter of the alphabet. G. No, GTE. And last but not least, there was actually a pitcher named J.J. Putz. Oh, hey, there's a Putz there, but you don't have to be a prick about it. That's all I got time for this week, and there's my thoughts. See you next week.